What is the root cause behind the troubles? When all your relationships end up in a bubble, hey, it's just a relationship that sometimes makes you trip. It's just a relationship.
Welcome to Jus Relations Podcast. I am your boy, Terrence Payton, known to many as TP. You know what? We're going to talk about today the real work of loving, leading, and showing up with intention. Today, we're stepping into a space a lot of men, hey, we just don't get to explore out loud. You know, we were raised a certain way. But today, with my brothers in the house, let me say that one more time. With my brothers in the house, you know, we're going to talk about how brotherhood shapes the way we move in our relationship. And if you've ever been a part of a fraternity or a football team, basketball team, or any kind of brotherhood, then you know it leaves a mark. Some of it good, some of it very challenging, all of it shaping who we become. So today, guess what, y'all? We're going to unpack that, right? But let me start off here, before we get even crazy, because listen here, these brothers that you see before you now, we got 40 years in the bond. Right. We all pledge a fraternity. The only one, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, yo. And I have with me my line brothers who we pledge together. You got Mr. Mark Cravens over here.
Still looking pretty.
I would expect that. And then who else? Todd Johnson over here, y'all.
In the house.
Hey, y'all, we have had the pleasure of having friendships. Like I said, it's almost 40 years now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a trip part. Let me break this down for y'all. This is to show you how brotherhood works. We hadn't talked for about 30 years, 25.
Had it been that long?
I don't remember.
20-something.
It was 20-something, I know. So we lost contact. They thought I was dead, y'all. Somebody told them a lie that I was dead. And I'm out here kicking it still. Ain't nothing changed, okay? We lost contact with one another. And, over the years, I know I kept trying to find them. I couldn't find them. Finally, I was like on a search. I'm like, I ain't seen my brothers in forever. I have no idea how to get in contact with them. So listen, I went on a search. I went on Facebook. I went on whatever was out there, social media. I went out there. Now, I didn't find neither one of these jokers on there, but I found Mark's brother. And that's how it started. And we got back. But this is the cool thing. We was out of contact for 20, 25 years. I can't remember exactly how long. But do you know that we just picked right back up where we left off? See, that's real brotherhood right there. That's the kind of thing that, when we talk about brotherhood,
right.
That's the thing that just keeps us strong, keeps us together. And we can have vulnerable conversations with one another. We can talk about masculinity, femininity. We can talk about all these things with one another because for one, we don't mind being vulnerable. We don't mind being transparent. But our brotherhood is strong enough that we don't have to trip on little things like that. That's what it's all about, y'all. What y'all got to say? Talk to me.
It's just like you say, even,
right.
For a long period of time, it's, to me, it kind of spoke to that.
Yeah. I agree.
The friendship that we shared in college, the bond, some years there, because life happens. I mean,
absolutely.
You get married, you have kids, and you may go different ways for a while and lose contact. However, the bond that we share is always there.
Yeah.
To
100%.
add to that, I think that the pledge period made us that way.
Right.
Through the duration, even though we were adults.
Wasn't in the grave, y'all.
Right. So,
and I pursued some things early on.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I moved it. And I was in the state. I was in Fort Smith, which is a couple hours away.
Right.
Connections get lost.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, it's funny that you almost say this because actually y'all led up to the first question that I want to talk about. So I'm going to start with the foundation. Brotherhood teaches you things like loyalty, trust, accountability, as we both know. But it also teaches you habits you don't even realize you picked up. And literally, as I'm sitting here thinking about the question I'm about to ask you now, a lot of stuff just came to my mind. But what messages about masculinity did you absorb in the frat? Because through that pledge period, through that, after the fact that we're noobs now, masculinity did teach us some stuff, in the frat. What were some of the things that it taught you all?
Well, just right off the top of my head, I think, as men, there's different levels there when you think about masculinity. Guys are different.
Yeah.
You may have one guy that could be loud and a little obnoxious, and then you have another one that's kind of quiet and reserved.
Yeah.
So, it can go a lot of different ways, and then there's a lot in between there.
Yes.
So, listen, you look, I think we learn a lot from each other. Not only us as fraternity brothers who pledge together, but, guys just in the bond, especially during like Mark was mentioning in the pledge process, that masculinity, that it can really peak to a level where
Right.
Exactly. So you have to really kind of home in on what's good and what's not good.
Yeah, 100%.
And make right choices there.
Yes, sir.
Masculinity can be off the charts.
It can be. I agree.
I was going to add to that by saying, the first, in most cases, not all cases, but and then my uncles. Then we had a close-knit community. It's kind of separate. Things have changed since I was growing up, but in the family, uncles and grandfather. And one of the things my dad taught me and my as a man, to whenever you start something, finish it.
Finish strong,
So
baby.
be it high school, college, or in our cases, what brought us together was the fraternity. Once we started, that was my mindset.
Yeah.
You got to remember too, not to say they were less than a man,
Right.
but you start something, finish it.
Yes.
You remember we started with, it was more than just us three.
Yeah.
Right?
6 of us. 6 of us.
And so again, I had, so when you talk about math.
No, you hit on a very important point, Mark, and I don't even think I thought about it till you just said this. Because, you had your father there.
Mm-hmm.
What about the brothers like me who didn't have a father there, who didn't have that male role model? I had my uncles that taught me a lot of different stuff, but didn't really have that father figure in the house. So now you're talking about going into a fraternity and pledging. And now you're about to take on some stuff that you probably never dealt with mentally, physically, and you weren't prepared for what's going to happen. So when we talk about masculinity, I think one of the things I can tell you, it made me just stand stronger.
Yeah.
It made me want to be a man even more so, based upon, number one, I got these brothers that I'm on here with. I got to stand strong for them. And I got to stand strong in front of all these brothers that we're pledging, that they're pledging us, and to let them know that, hey, I ain't no punk, So one thing I can truly say is being in the fraternity, not having that father figure, the fraternity gave me even more so of pledging that thing of I'm a man.
Right.
Because I'm going through some stuff that I ain't never been through before.
Right.
And I'm dealing with some stuff that I wasn't prepared for. You know what I'm saying? And how many brothers that have gone through the same thing, not having a father figure, and the fraternity being what trains them, what teaches them, what shows them how to get their Absolutely.
That's why I'm saying that
absolutely
that range could be varied
there.
From a 10 level to a 1.
Right.
And, I think you take those.
I'm trying not to put it out there, but I need to put it out there in order to make a point.
Right.
There was one particular thing that we had to do, and it wasn't hazing, y'all, so understand that. But what it was, it wasn't hazing. We don't hazing in Cap Alpha South Turkey. Hey, but this is the one thing that we did. I know y'all remember this as soon as I say. All I'm going to say is the egg. Okay?
Yeah, I talk about that all the time.
I do too.
Passing the egg. Now, let me tell you something. If that don't mess with your masculinity, I don't know what will. Okay? But the fact that we were all men, that didn't change anything for us. That didn't make us, where we like, oh man, you're a punk now. But we had to go through that, but it did not change us as men. You know what I mean? But what it did do, it did teach me, and this is going to my next question is, it taught me to be more vulnerable too, though.
Yeah.
And how comfortable are you all being vulnerable with the people that you love? Okay, so break it down. Why not? Why you say that? Because vulnerable means what to you, though?
Vulnerable means making yourself lesser degree to be taken advantage of.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
That means vulnerability there.
Right.
Because I want something so bad, I got to double down on me. Be humble is to already have that confidence in yourself and whatever it is. But to understand that it's not all about you.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
No, I love that aspect of what you said. I don't think I thought about it in that perspective. But that's a great.
I kind of see both ways, both sides of what both of you talking about. Being, vulnerable, and then humbling yourself, But I think the question was to those whom you love.
Yes,
and and then when you say that part of it, I'm looking at my kids.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my grandkids now.
Right.
And I want them to feel comfortable in knowing that I care.
Yeah.
So, if there's a situation, that comes up for one of them or for myself even, I think we can be more open, being humble and vulnerable to one another, as the elder now.
Right.
I think I want them to know that, I can come to Dad, say it. We're going to put God first.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And when things line up there, that's always great. Sure. But if we can't agree on something, my wife is going to always go with what I said.
Yeah.
What I say.
Lead to the order of God.
But I think being vulnerable is just being open.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, I agree. I'm going to hit on something Mark said. I mean, you can't be vulnerable with everybody, number one, because going back to your point, when you're vulnerable, people can tend to take advantage of that situation. Exactly. But then going with Todd saying, when it talks about your family, the people that are closest to you, people that you love, you should be able to be vulnerable, but that don't always happen either, because people that you're close to would take advantage of that, of your vulnerability as well. Oh,
to salvation.
People close to you.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, and because it took me a long time to even, as we pledged fraternity, it made me stronger, of course, than I already was. Did make me think about vulnerability a little bit more. But since I had so many issues with rejection in my life, I couldn't allow myself to be vulnerable because I'm always thinking somebody's going to hurt that old wound of rejection in me. So it made me just stick my chest out a little bit more.
Right.
But it took my wife to be able to allow me, and more importantly, the healing of my rejection allowed me to be more transparent, and it allowed me to be more vulnerable. Now, again, that goes to the people that are closest to me in my life. Right. I couldn't show my kids for a while because I'm still thinking I need to be strong for them. But being strong for them is showing vulnerability as well, because that's a strength. And the world makes it seem like vulnerability is a weakness. And that's a lie from the pit of hell. So being transparent, don't go outside. Nothing goes outside of this house. You don't tell your business outside of this house. Well, who are you stopping from healing and learning from what you have gone through? So if you don't do it, then what?
Right.
I had an experience. Slash company I used to work for, I used to train managers on leadership principles. And due to my feelings of rejection, low self-worth that I've dealt with my whole life, and I didn't understand this until recently, but what happened, they would clap for me at the end of it. They would give me all these accolades. And sometimes these accolades they were giving me was too much. And what it would be is I start getting emotional. My head starts sweating, and I would literally be crying in front of hundreds of people break down. You talking about vulnerability.
Right.
Why was it so hard for you to receive that?
Because I didn't realize this. One thing about rejection is you find defense mechanisms to act who you're really not. And with those defense mechanisms, you don't allow people to get too close to you. So I had this wall up, and I wouldn't certain things. And then if people said something nice and good about me, did I really believe it? Most of the time, I didn't really believe it. I thanked them. I appreciated what they said. But that inner boy who got rejected by his father didn't really believe it. But the vulnerability, it just came out. And then it started happening more and more and more. And what I realized in the process was that God was healing me from my rejection through the people that I was in front of that showed real love to me and appreciation for me. So I got to the point where I didn't care if somebody talked about me crying. You know how we make fun of, look at that big old sis over there crying. I didn't care because while they're making fun of me, guess what I'm doing? I'm getting healed over here. So I didn't care about crying no more. I got to that place. And then my wife would always say, I can watch certain movies on TV. And most of them always would be about a parent supporting the child, which I didn't see a lot of. Not from my father, but I saw all of it from my mother.
Question for you.
And my wife was like, baby, let it out. Just go ahead and cry. Let it go. And that's me being vulnerable with my wife. So I learned how to be vulnerable over the years of my life through starting to heal from the rejection in my life. Go ahead. What's your questions?
My question, you were speaking.
I
feel like him rejecting you was purposefully?
Or he did it purposely?
Yes.
Is that what you heard? He did it intentional?
Yes. In other words, because, I met your dad.
Right.
One time we went to Chicago.
Right.
And he seemed like he was open armed when we went by his house.
Yeah. I mean.
So my question is.
I got you. Go ahead.
But when did that come from?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm about to break it down. I see where you're going.
My question is, see, I think a lot of times, be mindful of.
Oh, yeah.
And they will still learn.
They had stuff. Too. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so maybe we may misinterpret what our dads were thinking about and how they acted, or even our moms and what they were thinking about and how they acted.
How were they, their relationship?
Because what I have found, being a father myself, I don't think society
totally 100% agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, very true.
And so and I don't want to say this, but I gotta
say it, bro. Speak it.
And I think especially when it comes to the African American man, and that society paints a picture that we don't care about our children.
Yeah.
But I know all three of us here, because 100%. I've experienced you around your children, right? And I've been there. Not all the time,
right?
Had they been in the household with me,
right?
But they know that their father. So, but there was some times where and so society, exactly. But society, sometimes it had to be his fault because son or daughter, right? You see what I'm saying? So I ask you the question. Because of his location or because of the temperament surrounding you, or did he just like blatantly my son?
Well, this is the thing, and this is the thing that I had to learn as I got older.
Okay.
Now, as a kid, I mean, most of us, when your parent is no longer there, or you go through a divorce, and that whatever that parent is not taking care of the child, and they're not hardly there in life, you feel that rejection right away. It's a natural thing that you feel.
Okay.
So for me, we moved from Chicago, Illinois to Memphis, Tennessee.
Right.
So the absence alone made me feel the rejection. Okay. So, but then when I would go to Chicago, which I went probably twice a year growing all the way up, during the summertime, and then I would alternate Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? During that time, I still didn't see my father. I might have saw him once.
Okay.
throughout the whole time. And I would stay up there the whole summer. So I didn't see him a whole lot. So again, as a kid, I'm still feeling rejection from my father.
Right.
Now, to explain him, did he purposely try to reject me? I don't believe he did.
Okay.
I honestly believed in my heart that he loved me,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't know how.
Did he know that you were?
He knew.
Did he know you?
He knew. Yeah. My grandmother would make sure everybody knew. Everybody in the city of Chicago knew I was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the other part. This is the part that helped me heal from that. My grandfather and my father fist fought at the age of 16. My father was 16. He was the oldest kid of 5.
Mm-hmm.
They literally fist fighting like grown men because my grandfather was hitting on my grandma, and my dad being the oldest wasn't having that. So they fist fought. Then I come to find out later on, I thought it was just one time. They fought a lot. My father never had the opportunity, number one, to grow up as a kid. Number two, he didn't have a father that knew how to love him and to give him all these things. So what you tend to do is you grow up with what you were taught, and that's what he did. It was based upon when I did a thing where I went to ask all my uncles, cousins, and everybody, is my dad? They all had great things to say about my dad. You know what I'm saying? Which was cool to hear that from other people because I never got a chance to experience it.
Right.
So going back to what you said in the beginning, yeah, I was mad as all I do for years.
Okay.
Now, right after you and I was in Chicago, after we had pledged and went up there, a year later, he died. And I never got a chance to build that relationship. Matter of fact, when we were there was the beginning of me actually talking. I called my dad one time, Pops. I never called him Daddy. I never called him.
Okay.
When people say, go tell your daddy so-and-so, like, hey, Grandma wants you. Or, hey, somebody wants you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that time then was the first time I called him Pops when we were there together.
Okay.
And I was at that point, being 19, I believe, that I decided to try to have a relationship with my dad. And then unfortunately he passed away right after that.
Okay.
That wasn't even a year. It was about 6 months later he passed away. You know what I'm saying? So do I get it? Understand it? Absolutely. But the problem is that as a kid, you don't. It affects your lives in so many different ways.
Relationships. But man, oftentimes as young parents, Mark mentioned it. You don't know. If he didn't have a good example before him,
like you just
said,
he may not know how to be
he did parent. And that's for all of us, though.
And the beauty of it is, because
that was my perspective. Because I decided to take on, I didn't have a father. I didn't know how to be a father.
Right.
I didn't know how to forge relationships with my son, my daughter, whatever. I was intentional though.
Yeah.
Now, did I mess up a lot? You're absolutely right. I messed up so many times, it's ridiculous.
Right.
But I still was trying, and I'm still trying. I mean, I can't tell you how many times today that I still do something stupid and go ask my kid, will you forgive me? Because that was exactly what I just did. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me doing that.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, the same way. I mean, not, over the just explaining things to her more, apologizing to her more, because I wasn't there all the time.
Absolutely. That's huge.
Missed some formative years there, which I was there.
Right.
But like Mark said, she wasn't in the house with me all the time. Your psyche.
Man, it does. 100%. Well, I tell you this. I've learned that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's access. And it's how people actually get to know you. But a lot of us didn't grow up with spaces where that was known.
Right.
So we're learning it as we grow as men. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all, we're going to move on to our next episode, y'all. I want y'all to come back and join us on this wonderful conversations about fraternity and brotherhood and just men. But before we go, I want to leave you with a few things. Hey, relationships, they are very hard. And every relationship is different. How will you show up in your present relationships? Hey, and the ones to come. Will you show love? Will you show forgiveness, honesty, and truth? Will you allow your hurts, your anger, and your walls that you put up every time someone gets too close? Will you examine every relationship that you have and make sure that you are a better person, that you are the example? Last thing I want to leave you with is this. Be the change that you want to see in all your relationships. Hey, this is your boy TP. I'm out with my brothers Mark and Todd. Come back and see us on the next episode. Y'all have a great one. Holla back in a little bit.
Why is it easy and hard to have a good relationship? What is the root cause behind the troubles? When all your relationships end up in a bubble, hey, it's just a relationship that sometimes makes you trip. It's just a relationship.